The cover sheet located in the Cover Sheet tab of each measure page is a summary tool that identifies how the measure data changes between the current version and the previous published measure version. This tab includes several sections which you can navigate to from the table of contents. The first section, Revision Summary, serves as the purpose statement for this measure update. The revision type and rationale to revision indicate the events triggering this update. The target submittal date is a date set by the lead program administrator and measure developers for when they expect to submit this measure to the CPUC. Finally, the change description is a high-level statement written by the measure developers to record the updates that they made. The next cover sheet section is Savings, which pulls the annual budget filing data from CDERS to estimate this measure's electric and gas potential for the statewide energy efficiency portfolio. The next section is the Change Attributes table. Attributes are labels and IDs that characterize the scope and eligibility of this measure, such as building type, building locations, net to gross ratio, GSIA ratio, and this would include the offering ID and almost all the parameters here in the supporting data tab. So under the measure parameters columns. Note that this table will only display if there is a removal of a label for all the permutations or if there is a brand new addition to the measure. The table will not display if 1, there is no change to the attributes, or 2, there are only changes to the exclusions where an existing label is excluded or included for certain subset of the permutations. The fourth section is the Change Impacts table. The ETRM 3.1 release in October of 2025 made some updates to the calculation logic and the UX. This table is an aggregated summary of the measured savings, cost, life, GSIA, NTG, and the cost effectiveness. You could go to the user guide and then download this user guide document to see the definition of each of these impacts fields. The mechanic of this table is described in this text right below the section name right here. Essentially, in the default view that you could see when you first navigate to the cover sheet is the overall measure level impacts. You can then click on Filter Offerings and then select the particular offerings you're interested in, click Apply to just see those offerings. Similarly, you can click on this second filter button to then select the particular impacts that you are interested in. So for example, if this measure only has first baseline, so we're just going to select first baseline. Click Apply. And then you could view all of those impacts for the particular offerings you are interested in. Click Reset to just remove everything and then goes back to the measure level information. Right below the table, you can click on this Average of Impacts by Offering ID link to download this very table to a CSV so you can do any further analysis outside of the interim. Also below that table is a description provided by the measure developer to provide additional context on some of these changes that you see in some of these impacts field. And then the last section of the cover sheet is this additional information section, which indicates if there is any communication to the stakeholders, to CalTF bodies, or if there is any regulatory documentations, or if there is any controversies with the measure package. The cover sheet is available to all users for all published measure versions, as well as measure version updates that have been submitted to the CPUC via the Measure Development Report. See a training video on the Measure Development Report for more details on that. And then before we end the video, just scroll away to the top. Click this zip file so that you can download this very cover sheet in a PDF if you want to view that outside of ETRM, or if you want to print that out and read that on a physical paper, as well as to download some of the data that was used to calculate the change impacts table.